शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरवे श्री सत्यसाईनाथ श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ॐ श्री परमेष्टि गुरवे श्री दत्तात्रेय परमेष्टि गुरवे श्री शिरडि ओम श्री गुरवे श्री सत्यसाईनाथ श्री पादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ओम परम गुरवे श्री शिरडि साईनाथ श्री पादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ओम श्री परमेष्टि गुरवे श्री दत्तात्रेय स्वामी श्री पादुकां पूजयामि नमः। सद्गुरु चरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। हरिः ओम श्री साईश्वराय नमः। हरिः ओम अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः। ओम अक्षस्रक्परशुङ्गदेषु कुलिशं पद्मं धनुष्कुण्डिकां दण्डं शक्तिमसिञ्च चर्मजलजं घण्टां सुराभाजनं शूलं पाशसुदर्शने च दधतीं हस्तैः प्रवालप्रभां सेवे सैरिभमर्दिनीमिह महालक्ष्मीं सरोजस्थिताम्। ॐ नमश्चण्डिकायै। ॐ ऋषिरुवाच शक्रादयः सुरगणा निहतेति वीर्ये तस्मिन् सुरारि बले च देव्या तान् तुष्टुवुः प्रणति नम्रशिरोधरां सा वाग्भिः प्रहर्ष पुलकोद्गमचारुदेहाः देव्या यया ततमिदं जगदात्मशक्त्या निःशेषदेवगणशक्ति समूहमूर्त्या तामम्बिकामखिलदेवमहर्षिपूज्यां भक्त्यानतास्म विदधातु शुभानि सानः। यस्याः प्रभावमतुलं भगवानन्तो ब्रह्माहरश्च न हि वक्तुमलं बलं च सा चण्डिकाखिल जगत्परिपालनाय नाशाय चाशुभभयश्यमतिं करोतु। या श्री स्वयं सुकृतिनां भवनेष्वलक्ष्मीः पापात्मनां कृतधियां हृदयेषु बुद्धिः श्रद्धा सताङ्कुलजन प्रभवस्य लज्जा तां त्वान्नतास्म परिपालय देवि विश्वम्। किं वर्णयाम तव रूपमचिन्त्यमेतत् किञ्चातिवीर्यमसुर क्षयकारि भूरि किञ्चाहवेषु चरितानि तवातियानि सर्वेषु देव्यसुरदेवगणादिकेषु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sri Vidya is on. Om Sri Sai Ram. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. Last Sunday on January 1st, we started the new year with this beautiful Shakradaya Stuti, an invocation or extolling the greatness of the mother after she has slayed Mahishasura. Indra and other deities in their gratefulness started extolling the mother, and we paused at a place where Kim varnayama tava rupamachintya metat. And the shloka before that is talking about how the mother rules the universe. Ya Shri Swayam Sukrutinam Bhavaneshu Alakshmi Papatmanam. Bhavaneshvalakshmi means Bhavaneshu, in the abodes of those who are Sukrutinam, that perform good deeds. In those, she herself is Shri, auspiciousness. Can you start sharing, Ma, so that people can see the words? And Alakshmi Papatmanam. And therefore, when you chant these shlokas, you have to pay attention. If you chant with knowing the meaning, then you will be actually break at Papatmanam, not at Bhavaneshwar Lakshmi. So when you chant that shloka, it has to be chanted as Ya Shri Swayam Sukrutinam Bhavaneshwa Lakshmi Papatmanam Krutadhiyam Hridayeshu Buddhihi. And in those that work with their intellects, she is herself as the intellect in their hearts, as well as faith and lajja, refrain from committing adharma, in those who are kulajana prabhavasya, those that are born as noble souls. Tantvan natasma paripalaya devi vishwam. This is how, mother, you rule the universe. And therefore, the most important prayer is as Gayatri Mantra, as powerful as the Gayatri Mantra, is this prayer of the mother, where we are asking the mother to stimulate our intellect, or to propel our intellect. May that be ruled by you. And that is also Sarva Chaitanya Gayatri. And how is it possible for us to even conceive, to describe your glory, as much as Ativiryam Asura Kshayakari, the valour of yours, that is Kshayakari, destroys the Asuras. And your glory, Kinchahaveshu Charitani Tavatiyani Sarveshu Devyasura Deva Ganadikeshu. Devi, it is impossible to comprehend that. Now let's go to the next sloka. Hetuhu Samasta Jagatam Triguna Api Doshaihi Ajñayase Hari Haradibhihi Apya Para Sarva Ashrayakhilam Idam Jagadam Shabhutam Avyakrita hi Parama Prakritihi Tvam Adya. Beautiful name of the mother, Adya. Hetuhu, the reason, the causality of the entire Jagat, that which comes and goes. Jagat means that. Jayate, Gamayate, iti Jagat. That which comes and that which goes. It's coming and going. That's why it is Jagat. The causality of The entire thing that comes and goes is because of her manifestation as the trigunas, the three gunas. Api doshaihe. However, she is the trigunas. There are limitations of the gunas, but dosha means there are errors associated with the gunas. Each guna has an error. I hope I don't need to explain all of that. By this time, most of you listening to this for so many number of times, you already know what are the three gunas, what are the errors associated with them. Perhaps you can take that up as the homework. If you know what the three gunas are, what are the errors associated with those gunas? Then we will be able to actually reverse engineer to know that when we actually notice an error that is happening within us, then we know with what guna it is associated with. The most difficult guna to find errors is in sattvic, the equal-minded one. That is where it's a beautiful exercise. But what is being said is, it is using these trigunas that the mother is manifest in the universe. Without the gunas, she is unmanifest in the universe. And that which is unmanifest, ajñāyase hariharadibihi apyapara, you are even beyond knowing that. When she go beyond those gunas, she is incomprehensible by who? By Hari and Hara and so on. Even the Hari and Hara cannot comprehend that. Now the confusion comes because for us, Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma, all these things are gods. See, this is very beautiful. In the context of spiritual, this is not saying that they are not God. The Shiva, the Vishnu, and the Brahma are the manifestation of the gunas of the consciousness supreme. Even though they are the highest gods, even the highest gods are manifestation of the Parabrahma as the three gunas associated with the Rajoguna, the passionate and creation as the Brahma, as the sustenance and expansion as the Sattva, which is Vishnu, and the one that causes dissolution and untouched by anything as the Shiva. So this is the reason why this stotra is so powerful. It is not simply talking about some mother as conceived as the Devi that we are talking about, or some mother in the form of some 16 hands, 18 hands, whatever. This is talking about supreme consciousness as in the feminine form, conceived as that feminine, but that form is irrelevant. That consciousness, the subject of the entire universe, the subject of the entire universe, manifested in objectivity or as objects because of the three gunas. How they are manifested as the three gunas? As Brahma in Rajasic, as Vishnu in Sattvic, and Shiva as in dissolution, the Tamas. And therefore, if they are the three gunas expression of the mother, how can they be knowing her? Impossible, incomprehensible. Are you understand the logic behind this? Huh? Hello, Sairam. Are we understanding the logic construction behind these two lines? No?
Yes,
Yes?
sir.
Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, Sarva, Ashraya, Akhilamidam, Jagat, Amshabhutam. Amshabhutam. So all of this entire universe, Jagat, which is now dependent on you or in you or You are the subject of that entire universe. All of that universe is Amshabhutam. It's only one aspect of yours. Oh, Sairam, this is amazing. It just makes you feel so humble. And in the context of that supreme consciousness, you are not even how do I call it? Nanoparticle, or not even a nanoparticle of an angstrom unit of that. That is Amshabhutam. Avyakrita hi parama prakriti hi. Avyakrita hi parama prakriti hi. Tvam adya. Adya means the substrate, the substance. You are the subject. Yes. If you take that subject out, then there is no objectivity of the world existing. Therefore, everything, Mother, the supreme primordial Prakriti, Parama Prakriti, Avyakrita, you are the supreme primordial Prakriti, the fundamental. Prakriti means the subject matter. She is the subject matter of the entire universe. What a beautiful shloka to. So now when we are chanting the shlokas now, with that ardhanusandhanukritam means filling your mind with that kind of what should I call it? With that, I don't even want to call it the awareness. Yes, I was going to use the word feeling. It's not feeling. With that awareness, or at the least with that understanding, when we chant that, then at least for the time being, when we are chanting the shlokas, we will be grounded in that awareness. After that, we will fall into Mahamaya anyway. At least for the time being of 3.5 hours of monthly Devi Mahatya Parayanam, we are all in awareness. After that, no guarantees. Okay. Hetu samasta jagatan trigunapi doshair.
हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर् हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर्
न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा
न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा
हेतुः सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतम्
सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतम् सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतम्
अव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या
अव्याकृता परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या अव्याकृता परमा
अव्याकृता हि
अव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या
हेतुः समस्त जगतां त्रिगुणो हेतुः समस्त जगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर्न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपार सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतम् अव्या. Okay, I should not break. So in this sloka, because when we learned, we broke every half line. But the full line is with the danda. Okay, when you see the danda means that single vertical line, the danda indicates that is the full line, and a double danda indicates that the end of full shloka. So technically speaking, if you see a dash after the word, that means don't break. You have to chant without breaking. हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर्न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपार सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतमव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या.
हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर्न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतमव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या
Very good.
हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैर्न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतमव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या
Then Yashyah Samastasurata Samudiranena Truptim Prayati Sakaleshu Makheshu Devi Swaha Sivai Pitruganasya cha Trupti Hetuhu Uchcharyase Tvamata Eva Janai Swadhacha. How is she? Now this is now you see the rishi is building how beautifully that aspect about subject matter is now manifested in the context of appeasing or causing happiness or sustenance of the uh, entire assemblies of not only the devas but also Pitrugana. This is a very important point in today's context. Many people don't even know what Pitrugana means. Pitrugana means all the assemblies of the ancestors. And the gratefulness of an individual for their fundamental existence comes from two assemblies of people that are taking care of you. First and foremost, your own existence as this body, mind, and senses complex, that your manifestation in this Jagat is because of the Pitruganas, because of your ancestors. And if you don't remember them and offer your gratitude to them, then you are an ungrateful person. And this gratitude that we are offering is not calling one day Father's Day, another day Mother's Day. The gratitude doesn't stop with just your immediate parents. It goes all the way to the rishis, who are your ancestors. And therefore, when you actually do namaskaram to even God, you have to chant your pravara, if you are so trained in, and say that Chatusagara Paryantam Gobrahmane Bhishvam Bhavatu Haritambari Shavanashvatrayarasheha Pravaranvita Hartasagotrodbhavasya Apastamba Sutraha Krishna Yajushakha Jhai Seshadrisekara Sarman Aham Bho Abhivadaye. Chanting this pravara every day after puja or before, whenever after your sandhya vandanam or whatever, or when you do your regular prayers. If you know your rishis, everyone has rishis. There is no one that doesn't have a rishi. And these rishis don't mean that they're Brahmins, by the way, not associated with a caste, because Vishwamitra is nothing to do with Brahminism. He is born as a Kshatriya. Veda Vyasa himself is not a Brahmin. Mother is a fisherwoman. So another stupidity that has been bombarded into our hearts, that rishis belong to only a particular caste. No, rishis are the fundamental existence of the Pitruganas. Actually start from there onwards. Then there are Pitruganas, your father, your grandfather, your great grandfather, your mother's mother, father, and her grandmother, great. All these you offer every month. And how do you offer these? As when those are offered, that offering as that energy in gratefulness is carried on by the mother as swadha, and the other the whatever you offer in the yajna as it relates to the gods and the demigods and the goddesses who are sustaining this universe as the earth, the water, wind, fire, space, directions, All those things associated with the universe, the sun, the moon, all those things get appeased because of your offering our gratefulness to them. So this is a living, this is a spiritual living in gratefulness and gratitude. It's not a dogmatic religion. It's not a dogmatic religion. It is actually an existence in awareness and presence to what, in gratefulness to who is enabling the functionality, and that awareness expansion is the mother as Swaha and Svadha. Therefore, Yasya Samasta Surata Samudiranena Truptim Prayati. All these entire assemblies of the Devas, the Suras, all of them are Truptim Prayati. They are all appeased and satisfied by what? Sakaleshu Makheshu Devi, by the Yajna. Yajna is not a ritual. Yajna is gratefulness and gratitude for universal peace. As I have mentioned in my emails over and over again, you are not coming to Yajna because you want to put a check mark on a bucket list saying that you also were a Ritvik in a Yajna. That is not the purpose at all. If you are calling somebody to your home and you are hosting a dinner for them, you ensure that all of the materials, all the things that you are providing to them are eatable, that they become happy. And when they leave, they remember and they say in gratitude, Annadata Sukhi Bhava, and they are happy that they had a good meal and a pure meal and a sattvic meal or whatever that is. And there are also tamasic meals, tamasic way of having parties, and there are sattvic way of having get-togethers. In either case, what do? You make sure that the one that is coming to partake that is happy, is satisfied. So when you do a yajna, you are inviting the entire cosmic energies that are sustaining this universe to that place. And therefore, when you offer your chanting, when you offer your prayers, would you provide them half-cooked meal? You make sure that your chanting is perfect. You make sure that your sadhana is perfect. You make sure that the material you offer is perfect. And it is done with extreme shraddha, with concentration, and with making sure that the intent of doing the yajna is satisfied. So therefore, Sakaleshu Makheshu Devi Swaha Sivai. What you doing? Samasta Surata Samudiranena Swaha Sivai Pitruganasya cha Truptihi Hetuhu Ucharya Setvamata Eva Janaihi Swadha cha. Swaha, Svadha. The two fundamental energies are invoked here. Now, what is Swaha and Svadha? Swaha, Svadha, Om, Namaha. All these are what are called Ahvana mantras. Ahvana means invitation. You are inviting. You are inviting them with this energy. Swaha and Svadha are the intent of inviting the divine and the ancestral divine force. They are no different. As much as gods are worshipped, your ancestors have to be worshipped. No, there is no second question. I only take care of myself, and I will be an extremely devoted person to Satya Sai Baba or whoever God you worship. But then if you don't take care of your own ancestors and the parents, that is not spiritual living. It's not complete, holistic spiritual living. Partial. Something is better than nothing. That is our today's motto. Okay. Yasya samasta surata samudiranena
यस्या समस्तसुरता समुदीरणेन यस्याः समस्तसुरतासमुदीरणेन
तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी
तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी
स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुर्
स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुर् स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुर्
उच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च
उच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च उच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च
यस्याः समस्तसुरतासमुदीरणेन तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुरुच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च
यस्याः समस्तसुरतासमुदीरणेन तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुरुच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च यस्याः समस्तसुरतासमुदीरणेन तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी स्वाहासि वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुरुच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च
हेतुः अविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वम् अभ्यस्यसे सुनीयत इंद्रिय तत्व सारैः मोक्षार्थिभिः मुनिभिः अस्त समस्त दोषैः मुनिभिरस्त समस्त दोषैः विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी भगवती भगवान भगवती भगवान bhaga represents effulgence and as in supreme wisdom as effulgence is bhagavati or bhagavan. So here it is she is the supreme effulgence, wisdom, parama, the ultimate. And this is ultimate sa, she, the Bhagavati, Paramahi Devi, the most supreme manifestation of effulgence. Vidyasi, she is the supreme Vidya. Vidya doesn't mean knowledge. Knowledge, you have to be aware of these three words, especially two words, Vidya and Jnana. Vidya, what we are looking at as knowledge, knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge is limited to objective perceptions. That's all. And what is supreme Vidya is that is beyond simply objective perception of things. So she is mukti hetuhu, the cause of liberation. Avichintya mahavratatvam, with this intent of mukti, they undertake tvam abhyasyase mahavrata. Yeah. Mahavrata, like a tapas. They abhyasyase, tvam abhyasyase. They try to practice. Abhyasa means practice. Suniyatendriya tattvasaraihi. By who? Mokshadhibhihi, There is mukti, there is moksha. You see, there are two words being used there. Mukti, there is moksha. And this pursuit of the mukti or the moksha is done by, there are people that do penance for realization, and the sages, munibhihi, asta samasta doshaihi, mokshardhivihi, all the munis. What is the meaning of a muni? What is the meaning of a rishi? You have to actually understand those words. From the dhatu of mauna, muni came. What is mauna? Silence. And what do we think of silence as? Silence means we think that not talking. That is again a very small aspect of silence. It is good aspect because it's the word that breaks the silence. When you speak, you break the silence, no? Therefore, by not speaking, at least you are preserving the silence. But that is outer silence. There is inner silence. Every thought disturbs the silence. When you completely are able to have that state where you don't break the silence with a thought, you are a muni. Mokshadibhihi munibhihi asta samasta doshaihi vidyasi sa bhagavati paramahi devi ya mukti hetu ravichintya mahavratatvam.
या मुक्तिहेतुरविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वम् या मुक्तिहेतुरविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वम्
अभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रिय तत्त्वसारैः
अभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रियतत्त्वसारैः अभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रियतत्त्वसारैः
मोक्षार्दिभिर्मुनिभिरस्तसमस्तदोषैर्
मोक्षार्थिभिर्मुनिभिरस्तसमस्तदोषैर्
विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी
विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी
या मुक्तिहेतुरविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वमभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रिय तत्त्वसारैः मोक्षार्दिभिर्मुनिभिरस्तसमस्तदोषैर्विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी
या मुक्तिहेतुरविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वमभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रियतत्त्वसारैः मोक्षार्थिभिर्मुनिभिरस्तसमस्तदोषैर्विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी या मुक्तिहेतुरविचिन्त्य महाव्रतात्वमभ्यस्यसे सुनियतेन्द्रियतत्त्वसारैः मोक्षार्थिभिर्मुनिभिरस्तसमस्तदोषैर्विद्यासि सा भगवती परमाहि देवी.
So therefore, what is being said in this particular shloka is this key word as abhyasyase. Abhyasyase, you are practiced. So the mother has to be practiced, not praised. Only praising is temporary benefit. But when you practice, then we will actually have this two that are given in the context of mukti and moksha. What is mukti? What is moksha? Aren't both the same? Let's take this up after the class. What is mukti? What is moksha? Aren't both the same? That's the question. Okay. Then in that case, why both the words are used? Avichintya mahavrata tvamabhyasyase suniyata indriya tattva suniyataha means controlling, refraining. Niyata means controlling. Suniyata means properly controlling. Indriyas. This avichintya mahavratatvam abhyasyase suniyatendriya tattvasarai. That means she is even incomprehensible to those who have actually able to practice proper control of the indriyas, and she is mukti hetu tattvasara. Tattvasara, essence of tattvamasi, the word that. Mokshaddivihi munivihi asta samasta doshaihi vidyasi sa bhagavati paramahi devi. How this is manifest in the context of that which is incomprehensible even to those who are able to control the senses and also able to practice complete silence. You are none other than Shabdatmika, Suvimala, Rug, Yeju, Sama, Udgitharamya, Pada, Pathavatancha, Samnam, Udgitha. So in this now, Shabdatmika, Suvimalam. This is a tricky one when we are chanting. Suvimalam. In that Suvimalargyajushan Nidhanam. In that mantram, in that words, there is a sandhi of Suvimalam, Rug, Yeju are both there. Yejusham, Rug, Yejusham, Nidhanam, Udgitharam, Udgithara, Udgitha, Ramyapada, Pathavatancha, Samnam. So there, when we are chanting those Udgitha, Ramya Pada, Pathavatancha, Samnam. As I mentioned before, if you want to know how the words are broken, English is a better way to look at it. Because in English, every word is broken up because they can't make words compounded in English. They have to be, English is a language that fundamentally breaks all the words. Sanskritam and the Eastern languages actually combine, they integrate. But English breaks it apart. Even Latin languages, there is sandhis, conjunctions of the words. So, Udgitha Ramya Pada Pathavatancha Samnam Devi Trayi Bhagavati Bhava Bhavanaya Vartasi Sarva Jagatam Parama Artihantri. Beautiful here. Shabdatmika. Shabdatmika. Atma means subject. The fundamental source. That is Atma. That's why Atma is also referred to as soul. A soul is something that is subject matter. Soul is not some kind of a spirit, some white light hanging around. Okay. Soul means that which is the subject matter, not the object matter. The subject of the object. Are these words confusing? I'm talking in English anymore? Okay. Shabdatmika. You are the fundamental subject of Shabda. Shabda is interpreted as in English as sound. Actually, Shabda has to be vibration. Sound is something that you hear with the ear, but there is something that is actually that what you hear is Vaikhari. What is in between expression and unexpressed is the Madhyama. Then before that, you actually see. Before that, it is unmanifest. Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. But our awareness of the word Shabda has only gotten limited to what you hear, because we are only noisy people. We only pay attention to noise. Otherwise, we are not aware of anything else. But Shabda here means that which is the fundamental vibration that is in the context of unmanifest, and which is the source of all the four. Suvimalam, Suvimalam, absolutely pure. Rug, Yajushan Nidhanam, and that is manifest in the Rug and Yajus. Rig and Yajus here are interpreted as both Rigveda and Yajurveda. But another way to look at it is when there are fundamentally in Vedas, the mantras are divided into two classes. One is Ruk and the other is Yajus. What is a Ruk? What is Yajus? I described all of this during Rudra Jnana Yajna. Somebody who learned it. What is a Ruk? What is a Yajus?
Ruks are 2 lines, edges are single lines.
Very good. Rooks are single lines. Huh? Is that what is no? Rooks are
Rooks
two
are
or
2
more
lines.
lines. Two or more
2 or
lines.
more.
Not two or more. What is the example of 2-line mantra? Chappandi.
The first Anuvakam of Rudram.
Yeah. Tell a mantra.
Om Namo
That
Bhagavate
is
Rudraya.
Namaste Rudramanya.
Namaste Rudramanya Utavate Shave
No, no,
Namaha.
no, 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 no. Chant properly. Why are you saying the mantra?
Namaste Rudramanya Utot Ishave Namaha.
Namaste, Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamutate Namaha. See, now you are actually chanting, paying attention to the sound and the vibration. So Rudram chanting is not creating sound. It's creating the vibration. The vibration doesn't come when you actually pronounce Udgita, Ramya, Pada, Patha, Vatancha, Samnam. In the silence between the words also, in the silence between the pauses that we virama, Namaste, then in second line there is a pause. Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane. See, every time an vowel is coming, there is a slight break before two short vowels, and there is a long break after a long vowel and a short vowel. Now I have to start teaching people how to chant Rudram now, all over again. So, what is a 3-line? What is a 3-line ruk in Rudram? Ade sir, ade concentration, complete attention.
Asavyastamro.
No, that is two line.
The next one.
Asavyo vasarpati nilagrivo
Nilagrivo.
vilohitaha utainam gopa adrishannudaharjagha utainam vishwa bhuta nisadrushto mrudayatinaha. This is three lines. This is a three-line ruk. So all the people who scored more than 70 should actually this is the reason why I said in the beginning, after 22 years of chanting Rudram is still a continuous learning process for this body, because it discovers so, even in the context of this mantra, there is a lot of people asavyo vasarpati nilagrivo vilohitaka utainam gopa adrushan. See, nobody stops there. Utainam gopa adrushan But even if you're chanting fast, you have to give the pauses. Utainam gopa adrishannudaharjaga, like that. Utainam gopa adrishannudaharjaga. That is next speed. So in this chanting, there are, in the context of Samaveda also, there is what is called Udgithara. We understand this. Udgitha, Ramya Pada Patha. This Samapranam, Samna means Samaganam. Udgitharamya pada pathavatam. What, when we actually are chanting this, because of Udgitha, Ut Gita, Ut, there is a raise of awareness. When you chant with raised, when that awareness raises, when you are connecting to this vibration of the subject of the vibration to her, then what happens? Udgitharamya pada pathavatancha samnam. In Rug, in Yaju, and in Sama, both in the context of Shabda, that is a pure, unsullied, complete, pure manifestation of that Shabda. You are the fundamental source of that vibration. Ramya pada pathavatam. It has to be pleasing. Hello. Ramya pada patha. Pada patha. Pada patha. What is then? Then there are different ways of chanting. There is pada part, there is krama, there is pada, there is ghana, there is jeta. There are different types of chanting of these rugs and yajus. Namassoma ya namo, Namassoma cha soma ya namo, Namassoma. Like that, when we are chanting 1 2 1 1 2 2 1 1 2 3 3 2 1 1 2 3 is Ghanapatam. Ganana antva tva ganana ganana antva ganapatin tva ganana ganana antva ganapatim. If you actually go to the next level, Bhagavan willing, we'll start Kramapatha of Rudram. When we start the Kramapatha of Rudram, then you will know, oh, how these words are, then how you understand the words, the vibration behind every word is understood. That is done through various Udgita Ramya Pada Patha Vatancha Samnam. See, each line of these Shakradistiti is loaded with so much of inside knowledge about that. Devi Trayi, Trayi. Vedas are Trayi. Even though we added the next level of Veda, the next level of Veda is that is added is Atharva Veda. It is not Atharvana. There is no Atharvana Veda. A lot of people make a mistake. Vedas are three: Rig, Yajus, Sama. The one that came later on as Atharva Veda. So therefore, in this Trayi, in these three Vedas, Bhagavati, Bhava, Bhavanaya. Bhava Bhavanaya. What is Bhava? Bhava Bhavanaya. All this aspect of samsara. in this samsara, but is nothing but bhava bhavanaya, vartasi jagatam parama artihantri. You are the artihantri. Arti means this is yearning for the samsara causes this. The jagat, sarva jagatam parama artihantri. For the entire universe, you are the one that appeases all the disturbance that is caused. Arti is actually another way of disturbance. Vartasi, the one who eliminates. Shabdatmika suvimalargya jushan.
शब्दात्मिका सुविमलर्घ्यजुषान्निधानम् शब्दात्मिका सुविमलर्घ्यजुषान्निधानम्
उद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नाम्.
उद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नाम् उद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नाम्
देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय.
देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय
वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री.
वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री
शब्दात्मिका सुविमलर्घ्यजुषान्निधानमुद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नां. देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री.
शब्दात्मिका सुविमलर्घ्यजुषान्निधानमुद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नाम् देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री शब्दात्मिका सुविमलर्घ्यजुषान्निधानमुद्गीतरम्यपदपाठवताञ्च साम्नाम् देवित्रयी भगवती भवभावनाय वार्तासि सर्वजगतां परमार्तिहन्त्री.
It's 8 o'clock exactly. So I think it's a good place to pause. And tomorrow we'll start with another beautiful sloka of the mother, how she is extolled as the three, the Trayi in the context. Now you see that there is a link. If you are noticing or not, you will see a link or connectivity between one shloka to another shloka. It's not just random compilation of some shlokas. There is an inner connectivity in this stuti. As you notice when you go from one level to another level. So now that is always, this is the beauty of teaching. It's an amazing way of teaching. You connect to the relative, the absolute, and how how they are. This is to see them together is the beauty of spirituality. That's holistic spirituality, not just seeing it as divided, seeing the subject matter of the world and the object matter of the world. When you see the object, you connect to the subject. When you see the subject, you connect to the object. There are only two things in the world. There is subject, there is object. There is nothing else. Is there anything else? There is subject, there is object. There is nothing else. Only two. So the beauty in this way of teaching, with this beautiful way of teaching spirituality, this is holistic spirituality. The holistic spirituality is subject and object, when what we call as saguna, nirguna. There are religions that only focus on nirguna, that is only no object but only the subject. And there is a problem with that because you are at the end of the day living in the world. So therefore, when you see the object, you have to connect. When you see the object, you have to connect to the subject in the object. When you see the subject, which is not actually seeable, or perceivable or comprehensible, you comprehend the subject in the object. This simple, ఇంతకంటే సింపుల్ గా ఎవడు చెప్పలేడు. Okay, there is nothing more simpler than this. Are you all connecting to it? You are all dazed off. Kota Mohan, what's happening? Are you in meditation? ఏమైనా అర్థం అవుతుందా? అవుతుందా? సబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి? సబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అంటే ఏంటి? What is subject? What is object? You want a metaphor for me to make it more clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Object ante what you see with a name and a form and a function. That is an object.
Yes, sir.
Example of that is
Human body.
chains are chain. Okay. Take it. మెడలో ఏది వేలాడుతుంది? ఆల్ ద టైం వేలాడు. ప్రతి వాడికి మెడలో ఒక చైన్ వేలాడుతుంటుంది ఇవాళ రేపు. So this chain is the object, right?
Yes, sir.
Because it is round in shape. It has a name called chain, and its function is to be worn around the neck. Antega? Is that more clear than that? This is a chain, and its name is chain. Its form is in a circular shape, and its functionality is to be worn around the neck. Yes. Subject enti? What is the subject in this?
Metal.
Metal.
Gold.
Metal, sir. Bangaru eskuntunnaru, sir. Don't simply call it a metal. Metal also is correct because gold is a metal only.
Some people will use only silver. Some people will use the silver. Some people
metal. Okay, that's okay. Very good.
That's the reason I use the metal.
Yes. You are actually correct. You are gone even more fundamental than the gold. So subjectively, this is a metal. See, I realized this soul. So this is a metal. So when you see the chain, what do you see? Chain or metal?
We are seeing the chain in the metal.
So when you see the
Metal
chain, when you see the chain,
Yes.
see the metal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because metal is not really seen clearly, because it can be gold, it can be silver, whatever it is. Then see the metal. Subject, object. That's what we're talking about. When you see the subject, when you see a person who is horrific and creating you trouble, see the subject. You cannot. At that point, you cannot. Because you have taken the issue and made it the individual, and therefore you cannot. So this way of teaching in this particular adhyaya, which is very beautiful, they will, and in one shloka, there is 100% the context of seeing the subject matter. And in the other context, immediately they will bring, hey, don't get carried away because you are not able to see that. You are not able to really see that. And you say, I can't see what you're talking about. This is nonsense. What are you talking about? Then immediately they will bring that which is of perception, that is the object. So that connect to that, these shlokas in this context, right? So, ya mukti hetu ravicintya mahavratatvam abhyasya se suniyatendriya tattva saraike Mokshadibhi munibhi asta samasta doshair vidyasisa bhagavati paramahi devi. And immediately it is brought into what is perceived as a vibration or a sound. Shabdatmika sumilargya jushan nithana mudgi dharamya padapatavata ancha samnam. See, these slokas are so grounded in that some point you will be, and that is the essence of Rudram also. That is exactly the Rudra essence of Rudram. Subject, object, subject, object. Okay, Sairam. Now we'll close with any questions and let's chant the Kshamas before we. Om yadaksharapada bhrashtam matra hinantu yad bhavet tat sarvan kshamyatam deva narayana namostute. Om yadaksharapada bhrashtam matra hinantu yad bhavet tat sarvan kshamyatam deva narayana namostute. Visarga bindu matrani padapadaksharaणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर. अपराध सहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर. अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर. हरिः ओम् तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु. Okay.
What is mukti and what is moksha, sir?
Ready, huh?
Moksha, ready, sir.
Huh?
Yeah, ready for the moksha, sir.
Not mukti. Mukti. That's a very, very important distinction. On a lighter note, one gentleman in an interview, Swami asked him the question. Swami asked, what do you want? He said, Swami, I want to merge in you. I want to merge in you. And then Swami looked at him, smiled, and he said, you this much, me this much. How? You are Mota. I am Chota. The Chota can merge in the Mota, but how can a Mota merge in the Chota? What is what is mukti? What is and what is moksha? This is very beautiful. Yes, anybody wants to take up that question, because I don't want to simply give all the answers. Some realized souls are here. Oh, there's that little one you are making, Cecilia. Oh my God, that's your grandchild. Wow. See now how I'm distracted by Sairam. What show is that? A boy or a girl? Boy?
A boy.
Oh my God.
Say hi.
Hi, Ram.
I'm babysitting today.
What a way to babysit. My God, he's already getting into this stuff.
Yes.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Dante.
Dante. Dante means?
Oh my God. I already looked for the meaning like 3 or 4 times. It's like someone that it's pursue preservative. I don't know how to say it in English.
Do you know who is Dante in Hinduism, right?
No.
You don't know who Dante is?
No.
Dante means Ganesh.
Wow.
Ekadantaya vidmahe vakrtundaya dhimahi. Danti is okay. Actually, we are actually calling that as a now I'm going from moksha to danta. Okay, let's but the what I'm trying to say is the word danti. Now I will tell you the meaning of dante in a second. So in Sanskritam, what it means, dante. Danti means dam, means boon. Danti means the one who unconditionally gives boons to people. Aneka dam tam bhaktanam, not aneka dantam bhaktanam, not aneka dantam. Aneka dantam bhaktanam means bhaktas have a lot of teeth, but God has only one tooth. That is not what it means. It's not anekadantam bhaktanam ekadantam upasmahe. No, anekadam tam bhaktanam ekadantam upasmahe. That is the way it has to be changed. So dam means boon. Te means the one who gives boons. Dante means the one who gives boons. So your grandson's name is Ganeshas. Yeah, that is it. Now let's go to moksha and mukti now. I saw the baby and I couldn't pay. I'm distracted by children. So because I'm one at heart, so it's immediate connection. So the context of what is the English meaning of the word, mukti, what is it?
Freedom.
Very good. What is the English meaning of the word moksha?
Liberation.
Liberation.
Yeah. So what's the difference between the two?
One is just to relieve from that mukti, that point, and another moksha is like kind of ultimate, maybe no coming back or rebirth.
No coming back.
Mhm.
My God, you guys are, see, I should actually start asking questions and not giving answers. You are actually very beautifully connected. What is the difference to be free and to be liberated? So mukti, moksha. Mukti, moksha. Very beautiful words. So freedom and liberation. Freedom from what? Freedom from what? Freedom from what? Huh?
From an objective or a material or the
Attachment.
instinct or
Freedom from the implications of samsara.
From attachment.
Okay.
Raga and Dvesa.
What is another English word for freedom?
Independence.
Independence. Not independence. Independence. Hello, Sairam, please listen to the word. Independence. You're dependent on something inside. What are you dependent on?
The self with a big S. The capital S.
No, don't give super spiritual answers. When you are actually looking at a question, don't escape into concepts. First you have to get grounded in the percept. You understand? So another word for see, the reason why spirituality is not for everybody is because people throw concepts. Concepts won't help unless they come into percept. So when I'm saying the word independence, I'm asking the question, what is it that you are currently dependent upon? Do we know what we are dependent on? That's the question I'm asking.
Dependent upon the mind and the senses to function.
It starts with the body.
Yeah.
Then all those things that you are dependent upon. And then you are dependent on other bodies about this body. So the body dependence has increased enormously. So the dependence factor has multiplied X number of fold. Then suddenly, if I say you have freedom really means independence, what is it that you have to be dependent on?
The soul.
How? What is the soul? See, concept. Soul is a concept. Now, you threw the word soul, right? I mean, sorry, I'm not picking on anybody that is speaking. We are having a study circle. We're just trying to connect to these words. And these words that we use, do we ever stop and ask the question? I said soul. What is soul?
Subject.
Show me soul. Show me the soul.
So
So
to
if
me,
you have to be dependent on something, you said soul. Okay, show me the soul. I can show a body. I can show something. What is a soul?
Breath.
Breath.
It is the source, or it is the
sense.
substratum.
Subject to
That-
the object.
So how can you be dependent on something which is the substance or the subject and not the object?
By detaching yourself from body, mind, and intellect, not be dependent on it, and then you can go to the real source.
Okay. So therefore, what is freedom?
Not having attachment to the body, mind.
No, not having that is the outcome. What is I'm
Okay.
asking, the description of what I'm asking is, so what is therefore freedom? Freedom from?
Suffering.
No. Freedom
Body.
from the freedom from on which you are dependent on. That is that is independence we're talking about. So how do you actually get to that? What is the process to get to that? And that process is tvamabhyasyase suniyatendriya tattvasarai. When you actually have niyati, control of your senses, and when you begin to control the sensual projections on which you are dependent upon, by unleashing yourself from those dependencies, you slowly get closer to that subject matter on which you actually become dependent. Now you see, not only, see, it's not siddhanta. See, there is drushtanta, there is drushtya. So this is in the context of the English words for those is a concept and a percept. Unless you actually bring the concept into a practical matter of how to actually perceive that concept, it just remains as a concept, and you start talking philosophy that's nonsense, and it has no practical application whatsoever for ourselves. You understand?
So, like you say, instead of internet, go to internet.
No, not what I said. It doesn't matter. See, now
Yeah.
who said what they said, all those things have already become concepts because you got bombarded with those things. So forget about what anybody said. How do you connect to that? And that is what we're so what in this particular shloka that we studied, how beautifully that is laid out. This is the depth of, see, I can't do this for every shloka, but when we are connecting to these words, where it is saying, Ya Mukti Hetuhu, you are the causality of freedom. You are the freedom. How do you get to that? Mahavrata. By Mahavrata means you are actually taking Diksha. Sadhana, and then there is sadhana. You understand now what diksha means in the context of taking a mantra diksha or taking a raksha diksha for a yajnam and all of that? It is
Yes.
Mahavrata. It is not an ordinary thing. Signing up for a Ritvik is not what it is. It's the least important. The most important is, are we committed to be that Ritvik? That means you're taking a diksha. Okay, and then you have to do the sadhana, and by doing that, what happens then? Suniyata indriyaha, then you actually are able to control those senses. And when we control those senses, then or when we control the senses means when we start paying attention to the dependencies that we have on those senses, you slowly become independent, not on the sense, but which is actually propelling that sense. Are we clear now? Question, whoever asked what is a Kota Mohan is the culprit here. Okay, so sir, am I making any sense at all? Am I talking to myself?
Yes, sir. Can we take as a desire, coming out of the desire is a mukti?
Yeah, that is even more fundamental.
Oh.
First, you know, sir, you see something or you smell something. Ah, nice Starbucks cappuccino coffee smell. Not here, but imagining, Then the sense is now carried away. Immediately you want to get that Starbucks coffee. So what is driving you? Your sense is making you dependent on something. Yeah. Desire is even more deeper spiritual word. I don't even want to start talking with even we'll talk about this when Raktadanta comes, when what is his name? Rakta Bija comes into picture. So even very fundamental things, are we able to first recognize the dependencies? Then that will lead to independence. And that is, Bhagavan says very beautifully, one line for that. The end of knowledge is freedom. The end of knowledge is freedom. This is Bhagavan's quote. One line, essence of whatever we talked for 15 minutes, he put it in one line. The end of knowledge is freedom. Now you understand why the end of knowledge is freedom. What is knowledge about? What's the definition of knowledge? Nobody wants to ask.
Self-awareness.
No.
The objective world.
Objective world. Everything that you perceive as object is knowledge. So then in this particular shloka, mokshardibihi munibihi asta samasta doshaihi vidyasi sa bhagavati paramahi devi. In this context, this is Paramavidya is, now the first thing is the knowledge is about objects, and these objects are the ones that are propelling your mind, and you become slowly attached to those objects or dependent on those objects. And object here can also be a sense. Object is also a thought that we can actually see clearly, perceive is an object, not object as in a coffee cup or something like that. You understand? Even a thought is your object. You understand that? So then the next question is, what is moksha? English word for moksha. Somebody said liberation. What is liberation? Very complex word for me. What is liberation?
Dissolve.
Dissolve. Who said
Release.
release? Any more meanings?
Salvation.
Salvation Army. Okay. What else? What is liberation, sir? We are simply saying We want to get moksha. What is liberation?
Not taking repeated births.
Oh, how do you know whether you will or not?
Detachment is liberation.
Detachment. From what? All the pedas.
Yeah, desires. Swami says, right? Swami tells saying moha chaya.
Ah, okay. Chappandi. That is,
Right.
yes. Moha kshaya.
Right.
Moha kshaya is moksha. What is moha?
Moha is attachment.
Okay. Attachment to what?
Attachment to whatever is going on or whatever went also.
We just went through that. No, the object that is mukti. What is what is?
I know.
Sir, we are looking at this together. I'm not trying to throw words and confuse you all. We are, because I'm not. It's not that I have thought about this and I'm talking about it now. We are looking at it together in the presence. Yes, together. So let's ask the word. What is the word that you used? Moha kshaya. And I asked, kshaya means what?
Destroy, decaying.
Destroying, decaying. Very good. What is moha? You said
Thinking
it.
body as the Atma.
Thinking body as the Atma. Okay, not completely. What is attachment? Mohante, you said attachment, but is that what is attachment to what?
Attachment to that which is not permanent.
Which is what?
Objects, attachment to objects.
Any objects.
That is liberation. What we're talking about, that is what we call as mukti, that is freedom. Attachment to all the objects we already defined. It is freedom.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Urge mukti moksha. God, but see, this is the problem. No, we go to God. Swami asks, what do you want? Swami, give me moksha. Then he's looking at it. Do you understand what moksha is? See, if you have to ask someone what you want, you have to know what you are asking, no? Dhaluni ananga swaswarupi rahedang. Tipputuntar arati plate. They're rotating this arati for Shirdi Sai Baba. They're saying Dhaluni ananga swaswarupi rahedanga mumukshu janadavi nijadola Sriranga. The God is confused. That's why he put his hand down. One on his foot and both on his knees, one on his foot and the other on the knee. I don't know what this fellow is asking. I don't think he understands what he's asking. If God, Swami appears before him and say, okay, Swami, I want moksha. Swami asks, what do you understand as moksha? Tell me, then I will give it to you. What will you tell him?
Finish the game.
What game?
This going and coming again and again.
Why do you come again and again?
Due to desires.
Vasanas.
Okay, that is now freedom.
Be clearing all the karmas.
I don't listen to black boxes. I don't listen to black boxes. I told you, if you want to talk, you have to show your face and talk. Yeah.
Sairam, moha is the wrong identification of ourselves. That is that.
Beautiful. Perfect. Moksha is misidentification, false identification, error in identification. And what is that identification associated with? How do we identify ourselves?
With
Ego. Body, mind, and
body. Body and mind.
First, just to be practical, first with your name, no, then your social security number, then your driver's license. That is how you are identifying yourself. When you go in front of a TSA, for say airport security, please identify yourself. Oh, I'm the body, I'm the mind, I'm the sense. He will throw you out. You have to show an identification, which is identity. Identity. Dent ante dent, impression. That there is an impression on the supreme I, and you identified. See how powerful the words are. That's why I'm asking, do we actually connect to the words that we are using? Dented becomes identity. There is another type of T. We are so this false identification. This false identification is, if you destroy that false identification, then you have moksha. See, all the things that you're saying are not that Radhaji said, whatever people were saying, rebirth and all those things. Why do rebirths and all those things occur? Because of your identification. The moment you take that identification, then you are liberated from this false identification. That is moksha. Now, how deep that is? How deep that is? So you would rather have mukti than moksha, no? So, what is supreme vidya? What is supreme knowledge? Supreme knowledge is, therefore, Vidyasisa Bhagavati. What is that? Mokshardhibhir munibhirasta samasta doshair vidyasi. Dosha. Dosha means error. Dosha means not mistake and all of that. Mistake or error. Okay. Dosha means error. What is the error? Doshaihi samastaihi. Hello, are we all together? That shloka I'm chanting. Now, this one shloka we have spent 15-20 minutes. Mokshardhibhir munibhirasta samasta doshaihi vidyasisa bhagavati paramahi devi. Now, this is the most beautiful shloka. Now we see how much is embedded in that. We are saying mukti and there is moksha. To summarize this particular discussion, the mukti is associated about the freedom from all the kinds of attachments, and that freedom from attachment does not still lead to error in identification. Yeah, there is still, you understand what I'm trying to say? Simply because you have detached from all the objectivities, etc., the feeling or the impression or the false impression, the reflection is still there, no? And you identified with that reflection. Erasing that fundamental error, dosha, associated with that false identity, it's an error. So to correct that error and to remove that false identification is what is called as moksha. So moha means false identification. Kshaya means destruction. Moha kshaya means erasing the error of false identification. Are we good? Okay. And are there any? Yes, ma'am.
Sairam, as you said, it is asta samasta doshehi. That asta, I was thinking it is astamanam of all the doshas. Samasta doshas.
Samasta, yes.
Sairam.
Is there a question mark or just a comment? Just
No, just I want to get the confirmation whether I'm right. That is
Asta samasta dosha. Asta means those, all those doshas. Mokshadvihi, munibhihi.
Oh, I thought it is asta means gone. samasta doshas gone. Asta,
Asta,
astamanam.
yeah, erasing of all the errors. Asta means erasing. Erasing. Gone is erasing also, right? Erasing all the errors associated with false identification. How do you get that? When you become a muni. That is the see, there is a word mokshadibhihi munibhihi. All the munis that erase all the errors associated with false identification, and that you are that ultimate vidya. Vid means to know, that how to do that. Ultimately, how to do that. You are the mother. So you are the one that is going to erase. But for that you have to be a muni. What is a muni? I already defined. What is a muni? Who is a muni?
One who
This
is
is silent with the mind.
Silent. The one who is completely thoughtless, without even, because if thought is an object, there is no objectification that is existing. And due to that, when there is no thought, because thought is an impression, that is what I'm trying to say. Thought is an impression. So when all those impressions are erased, then you become a muni. And then the last piece about that is Bhagavati. Bhagavati, there is the reason why all those words are used. As I said, it is like a logic construction, and one sloka leads to another, one word leads to another. And it is so beautifully constructed that when we connect to that, even not only the concept is given, but the percept and the practice required to get to that is also given in these Shastras. It's not simply the concept thrown at people. God is in heaven, go pursue him. Those are all concepts. And the God, whatever that God himself said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And then, but is all these other guys, the priests are now telling, go pursue, let's all go pursue heaven. But Jesus himself said, the God of heaven is within you. And then he also said, still, be still and know who I am. These are very powerful statements of Jesus. We ignored what Jesus said and what he asked us to practice, and then created a religion in the context of blasphemism of what Jesus' teachings are. Be still means the one who is still without a thought is a muni. That's the definition of a muni. So when you are still, what will you know? You will know who I am. You will know the I am consciousness when you are still. And therefore, Jesus did not say, no, I am means not I am as in Jesus's identification with the body. If Jesus identified himself with the body, he would not have sacrificed the body. And today, by the way, is the Orthodox Christmas. and that is the reason why these words are coming out. Today is Orthodox Christmas. Okay, am I correct on that? Yeah, today is Orthodox Christmas. I just checked myself. and with those words on Jesus, I think another question is, who is a Rishi? What's the difference between a Muni and Rishi? Is Ram still there or is he gone? Ram gone?
Yes.
Oh, you're here. Okay. So the difference between a Muni and a Rishi is, the Muni is the one who is still. A Rishi is the one who has complete vision. Complete vision is a Rishi. Rishi, not Rushi. Okay.
Sairam Shikhaji.
Yes, ma.
So it just seems to be like a function of the same kind of a role, like Muni is silence, but even in that silence, you will know everything, right? Rishi would know everything too. And even in the silence, so I mean, even when you know something, you know when you have to be silent. So it's kind of a overlapping kind of thing, right?
Yeah, there they are pretty much the same thing, but a Muni is completely, totally internally focused, and a Rishi is in the context of the universal vision. It's not only connecting to that within yourself by being still, but by having the vision with respect to everything else that you see, both in and out. And it's that's the way it is. At least Rishi is visionary. Now there's a question from Chandrasekhar. If the subject is not comprehensible and if we comprehend the object through perception, however, this perception is still limited by the doshas of the Triguna, is it not is it not no, it is not complete. This is confusing. Yeah, okay. I understand the paradox that he is referring to here. On one side, we are saying subject can never be comprehended. That is what we are. So how do you know that there is electricity? There is power. Is very important because we lost power the other day. Huh? How do we know? If you see what if by this time you should have noticed, right? Complete presence is that in everything that you are talking about. There is never talking about the past or the future. It's here and now. Whatever you experience here and now. And how do you know there is power, Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, through its function only.
Through its function only. Yeah. So therefore, electricity by itself is not perceivable. If you try to do that, you will die. Directly. Directly, don't go hold a metal wire. But you will know that there is power only when a fan is revolving or a light is shining. So how do you perceive the subject?
Yeah, only through its expression or the function.
Which is upadhi, its own object that is shined through that. So what's the confusion? So when you see the light.
Yeah, when I see the object, I get carried away by the object.
Yes, but that is what we're talking about is when you see that there is light is shining, you know there is power. That means the subject is never directly conceived. It is impossible to conceive that subject. Only through the object on which it is shining, you can conceive it.
No, but is that where that abhyasa comes into play? That
no, and knowing that the object through which the subject is coming is only a partial manifestation of the power of the subject. Isn't it?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So the power of electricity is not just to shine a light. The power of electricity is much more than simply shining your light in the room. Yes.
Yes.
Hetu samasta jagatan triguna pridoshaih ajnayase harihara bhirapyapara sarvashraya khilamidam jagadamsha bhutam avyakrita hi parama prakristvamadya. This is another beautiful shloka. I didn't do proper justice to. Now we are doing this as a study circle after the class because now this is the real class. The other one is simply shloka chanting and connecting to the words. Now when we actually look at that words that are used, you are in the context of that hetuhu, you are the causality. For what? Samasta jagatam. How are you causality of the whole world? Through the gunas. But yet, each guna is limited in its functionality. But you are expressed through those gunas. But let me tell you, you are not the gunas themselves because they have errors and limitations. And you are not limited by a light bulb. Electricity, you are not limited by the light bulb, although the light bulb shines because of you. Hetuhu, samasta light bulbs, but without the limitation of the wattage of the light bulb. That is what it means. Light bulb, electricity can also destroy things. Put a paper in a shredder, it is destroyed. So you cannot therefore what, and then immediately say, Ajnayase Hariharadi Bhirapyapara. Therefore, you cannot be comprehended by using the object. You can only be perceived in the context of perceived by the objects, but you cannot be comprehended. Ajnayase by the light bulbs. Hari, Hara, all different wattages and functionalities. Hari is a fan. Hara is a like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Therefore, Sarva Ashraya Akhilam Idam Jagat Amsha Bhuta. What I become ecstatic and enthralled or enchanted, whatever the right word is, because of this kind of a understanding and trying to get to that. I learn as we are actually speaking here. Therefore, when we actually use the word avyakrita, prakriti, avyakriti, vyakriti means expansion. Avyakriti means that which is beyond expansion. So, avyakrita, the word also means that which is born, that which exists, that which grows, that which decays, and that which is destroyed. Sir, you understand? That is avyakrita, means that is a constantly changing. That's the better word of explaining that. Vyakrita means constant changing. Vyakriti, it is changing. Avyakriti means that which is unchanging. So you take your body, the body is born, the body has an existence, uniki, that is what we call in Telugu, that which is born, that which exists, that which grows, that which decays, and that which disappears, are gone. How many did I say, sir? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 aberrations associated with any object. So therefore, you are the unchanging in the changing. Avyakrita hi parama prakriti hi tvam adya. Adya is a beautiful word. I love the word adya. Adya means that which is fundamental, the subject matter, adya. Very good. Okay, no more questions. You're all free from all questions now. Freedom from all questions. No, it's very important. We have to ask these questions. We have to contemplate. Then only when next time when you chant, you are actually, if you are lucky enough or fortunate enough with the grace of the mother, you will be able to pay attention to these shlokas, and you are able to actually connect to the, at least understand. To learn is good. What is the recent quote of SB? To learn is good.
To be aware is better.
No.
To understand is better.
Uh-huh.
To understand, right?
Aware is the best.
To be that in awareness is perfect.
Perfect, right?
To learn is, this is mother, the mother of Aurobindo Ashram. This is her saying. She says, to know is good, to be is better, to be that is perfect. So I'm modified that in the context of Veda study. To learn is good, to understand is better, to be that in awareness is perfect. And that's what is the pursuit of Veda study. Jai Sai Ram. Om swastif prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishah go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah sukhino bhavantu समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी
बाबा
की
Jai.
Sai Ram. Thank you.
जय साई राम।
Thank you, sir.